Hi everyone, Jeff here from Kids Guitar 3. This is part 1 of a tutorial on some of the advanced features of the Digitech RP90 or RP70 guitar processor. And we're going to be dealing mostly with this part here called the matrix. And we're going to learn how to fine-tune some presets and create new ones, things like that. And also we'll go into a lot of how to make all these different effects. It's like computer software where you have to learn a program, so that's what we're going to be doing. Now this model is the RP90, and it does have the foot pedal, which will let us do whammy effects, wah pedal, and also it will do volume and also control lots of other different effects. The RP70 it does not have the foot pedal. It does have an input on the back where you can get an expression pedal or volume pedal and plug it in, and then you can do the same thing. So basically they're almost the same, except that foot pedal is what makes the difference between the two. So here we go. In the previous tutorials we did presets 1 through 7. We're now on number 8. Eventually we're going to put a wah pedal here. So we're going to show you how this works here. Okay, so we'll be basically using the edit buttons here on the left, and the center, the value ones, will increase our numbers and lower them. So we're in preset level right here. I hit that button once and it says ED, meaning we're in the edit mode, and here we go. Preset level is set at 30. Okay, if you hit, like on the previous 7 presets that we had, you do want to make sure they're close in volume. Otherwise, if you're playing the band and you're going from you're using your foot switches to go to different presets. If you're going loud, soft, you're going to drive the band crazy. So you want to go through eventually after you have all your presets created and check out the volumes on them. Okay, so this will lower it if I press the value button down, and this will raise it back up. Okay, next section is the pickup or wah. And we're going to skip that for now because I'm going to show you that one at the end. Next session is the compressor, and what the compressor does is it increases sustain, it tightens up the guitars or vocals, and it also limits volume peaks. An example of this is right now I have it on off. If I have no compression, I can strum quietly, and you hear it is quiet. I can strum loudly, and it gets louder. If I go ahead and put compression all the way up, I can strum soft or loud, and it's going to be basically the same volume. I don't know if you can hear that totally. You can probably hear me strumming my guitar, but from the amp, the volume is pretty much the same whether I'm strumming hard or soft, and that's what compression does. Another example of compression is I heard a recording of a orchestra playing Dvorak's New World Symphony, and the quiet parts I couldn't even hear. I had to turn the volume up, and then the loud parts were too loud. So the compression just evens that out for you. So it's in a pretty, within a set volume range. Okay, next section is amp and distortion. And the amp modeling technology has just been incredible. With this small unit, it can make your little basic practice amp sound like a Fender amp, Marshall stacks, Vox, all these different types of sounds. So you can go through all those and take a listen. The T section and the B section are Fenders. Okay, keep going on, and you're going to hear when we get to the J section, H and the J, it's going to be the Marshall stacks, and it gives you a so it kind of gives you that Angus Young type sound from AC/DC. Okay, continuing on to different amps. A is for Vox, which was what the Beatles used. Okay, and keep going on, and there's all these different sounds. So you look in your manual if you want a certain sound. You could find out what's what. Okay, when we get up to the numbers 50s, okay, when we get in the 50s, this is the beginning of some of the distortion models. So you kind of have your choice of those other amps, and there are some very clean sounds in there too. But when you get 50s and all the rest of them are going to be more so some metal sounds or distortion. Okay, keep exploring some of these. Those numbers were, by the way, programmed or modeled after the Ibanez Tube Screamer pedal. Okay, if I go D, that was the Boss DS1 pedal. Okay, and then if I take it all the way to the end, the AC, what I want to show you was an acoustic guitar simulator. Pretty cool. So your electric guitar can sound acoustic. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that down into next section is our equalizer. It's this is a 3 channel equalizer, bass, mid-range. D stands for mid-range and T is for treble. If it's at 5, there's no increase in the volume of any of those frequencies. Treble frequencies, if we want to increase those, I think each number goes up by 3 dBs. So this will emphasize our higher notes. If we put it all the way down, it lowers the volume. If we want to emphasize the bass notes, we'll just increase the volume on the bass. Okay, you can hear the difference there. Okay, and as next section is noise gate, and as we increase our frequency, especially maybe more treble, and we do the amp modeling or distortion, you're going to hear more noise. Okay, so what I did was I just got a Marshall type amp now, and what the noise gate does, right now it's on off, what it'll do is it can get rid of some of that buzz. Okay, that does a pretty nice job of it. Okay, so a lot of times you just hear that hum or that buzz, and that'll take care of it. There's also another feature on noise gate. This is called a swell, and that's in the 50s, I believe. And what this will do, if I strum the guitar, it'll be no sound, and then gradually the volume will rise. And you can even do that with single notes to add some textures to music. Pretty cool feature. I'm going to keep a little bit of the noise gate on. Okay, we're going to move to the effects section. It says core/FX. Right now it's on off. There are so many different sounds in here. I mean, if you wanted each of these sounds and you had separate pedals, you'd have like probably 10 different pedals. So this is pretty cool. Chorus. We went in this last time. It just kind of gives a little bit of short echo to everything. Okay. F was for flanger. Okay, phaser. Gives it more of like a twisting sound. Okay, T, we did that in the last videos. That was Tremolo. Okay, sounds like the beginning of Dream, Dream, Dream by Everly Brothers. N stands for panner, which is kind of hard to hear really what that means. Not really sure how that works with just a small amp. It's supposed to pan the sound from right to left, but really hard to hear. Next section is B, is vibrato. Okay. Next section is R, stands for rotary. That can't explain it very well, but it's a really cool sound. I think that's the sound kind of like you'd hear in that No Matter What You Want. I think that was the name of the song. Okay, the Y stands for YaYa, and it's kind of like it gives a YaYa sound instead of a wah-wah. Okay, and for the lowercase y, you have to set up your pedal, so it's not really going to give us... Gives us a little taste of it. And auto ya stands for A, and I think this one will kind of go according to... You can hear that a little better there. Okay, next section. Let's see, I think the 51. The number is 51, and I think it's 51 to 59. It gives you a random wah, so I could just play a scale, and it'll once in a while it'll change the sound, so it sounds like I'm using a wah pedal. Okay, E stands for envelope filter, and this is supposed to make a wah depending on how hard you strike the strings. I don't know if I really heard it that well. It sounded pretty even to me. It didn't really sound like it changed it, but you can play around with that. Okay, next section, D is for detune. What it does is it makes a copy of the incoming signals, then it mixes a slightly detuned copy back into the mix. So it's going to sound like there's two guitars playing here. Okay, it kind of just changes the tuning a little bit. Makes it almost sound like there's two guitars playing. Next section is H is pitch shift. It's a pitch shifter, and what it does is it'll add a note to what you're playing. So for instance, if I did that same riff, okay, now if I hit 8 or 9, okay, a little bit of Jack Black there. I'm sorry, Jack White. 9 might make it a better, even octave. So that's that'll help your bass notes get a little thicker there. Okay. Capital H stands for Digitech Whammy, and you do need to hook your pedal. When we get to the expression area, I'll show you. You do need a pedal set up for that. So instead of, if you don't have a wah, a whammy bar, what will happen is if you can use your pedal, to lower and raise the notes, things like that.